a special presentation.
In this edition of Artbeat Nation, we explore where Indian mysticism meets animation.
I put down my pencil and no longer draw at Pixar. I have to use my mouse, and I use 3D animation software.
Learn about the history of Cubism.
Braque is a very important artist for the history of 20th century modern art, but he's not very well known.
Meet a pioneer in the realm of dance.
The paint on the canvas were not at the service of drawing the vase of flowers anymore, but the act of painting, the act of the body moving and gravity.
And explore where art and flight meet.
It's instantly become this iconic feature of the airport and a real destination for people.
It's all ahead on Artbeat Nation. Funding for Artbeat Nation is made possible by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you. Sanjay Patel, a pop artist and animator at Pixar Films, has worked on movies such as The Incredibles, Ratatouille, and Toy Story 3. Patel also has a unique personal portfolio drawing on his Indian heritage to illustrate adaptations of ancient Hindu epics.
We're working on a series of shorts based on Mater's character called Cars Toons. And in this particular short, they actually are big monster trucks, and they end up sort of in this big wrestling match.
Pixar Studios in Emeryville is known for bringing innovation and emotion to the world of computer-animated films. Popular films like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Ratatouille have garnered the studio 22 Academy Awards. Now a lead animator at Pixar, Sanjay Patel was still a student when he was recruited by the fledgling company almost 14 years ago. He was studying in the animation program at CalArts in Los Angeles.
That program was started by Walt Disney himself to train his animators, and so I started making 2D animations. Toy Story had been released, and they had brought it to CalArts, and as students we saw it, and I was just blown away with the sophistication of it and the sophistication of the storytelling. And so I put down my pencil and no longer draw at Pixar. I have to use my mouse, and I use 3D animation software. Essentially, we have this car that's been built by the modelers, and these models are very elaborate puppets, and we have controls to move the puppet around and create different positions and different expressions. I could just sort of move this control, and he could move his tire and hit McQueen. Move the upper lip up, down. Even their eyelids. When I picked up the scene, I actually had them looking a little bit sort of too angry, and the director actually pulled me back, and he was thinking that, you know what, these characters are best friends, and they're actually having fun just playing tag. I ended up having to sort of change the expression to reflect that. And that's the end of what I do in terms of animation, and then it gets handed off to lighting and rendering, and here's how the scene looks with shadows and colors. Pixar is incredibly supportive of people doing outside work. There's all kinds of classes that people could take here at Pixar. There's painting classes, there's drawing classes, there's sculpture classes. And I think they really encourage that, you know, you really need to renew yourself as an artist to be able to come back and sort of work under such pressure and intensity on these films. If there's anything that Pixar espouses, it's just this absolute like church of storytelling. It really does force you to think in a very different way. I think because of that, I've been able to pursue my own stories that I want to tell.
Since 2006, Patel has published his own work, lavishly illustrated interpretations of ancient Hindu mythology. His latest book is called Ramayana, Divine Loophole. The Ramayana is one of the foundational myths of Hinduism and tells the epic story of Rama, his brother Lakshman, and his wife Sita.
The Ramayana is such a neat story because it's all adventure, plot, and actions, and there's magic, there's fighting, and animals, and gods, and demons, that I just thought, like, I really want to tell this story in the most modern and graphic way as possible.
As Patel undertook the task of bringing to life dozens of scenes from this ancient story, he found himself using the skills he gained from his animation work at Pixar.
Animating at Pixar makes me think about, well, what's the acting and what's the sort of narrative arc that I could use for this little panel that I'm trying to draw. And it really reminds me that character moments are so important in this great mythology that I want to tell. And so I do feel like the two feed off of each other. This type of artwork would definitely be hanging around in my parents' household, and this is definitely my indoctrination and like introduction to Hinduism. I'd see stuff like this and I'd just have like no effing clue what this meant. I was raised in Southern California. My parents owned a motel in San Bernardino, California, and my parents are from India. They're from a state called Gujarat. I could speak English really well, so I had to stay home and help run the motel. I just kind of became a TV brat, and I really, in many ways, I just grew up on American culture was definitely like fed to me through the television, mainly through cartoons. I don't know, I could really just sort of escape my reality, and I just became obsessed with watching cartoons, drawing cartoons, collecting comic books. I would sit there and draw for hours and hours and hours from these comics.
Although Patel revered the comic book heroes of American popular culture, his relationship with the icons of his parents' Hindu faith was more complicated.
Indian culture in my, growing up, I hated it. I hated it. And my parents were raising me in a sort of bubble of their own culture inside Southern California. I wasn't exposed to the stories of the Hindu mythology or Hindu faith at all. What I was exposed to was the iconography and the imagery.
But it's his perspective as an outsider that allows Patel to reclaim the iconography of his parents' culture and reimagine it for a contemporary audience. Patel is in the midst of creating a new book based on the story of the Hindu deity Ganesha. In Patel's version of the tale, he plays off of the elephant god Ganesha's famous love of sweets.
It's kind of a fun little moment, actually. This is after Ganesha he actually tries biting down on the jumbo jawbreaker Ladu, and sure enough, he breaks his tusk. And I'm trying to figure out what would be the most fun way to figure out how Ganesh might react, oh no. So I was thinking maybe he'd be crying over here. Growing up, I always felt disconnected from my American friends simply because I was Indian, my skin was brown. From my Indian friends, I felt disconnected in different ways because I was an artist. And so I just felt outside in all these ways, and finally I found the thing that actually brought everything that I like together. What I'd like to think is actually I found my voice, and this voice is something that feels really relevant to me, and really important and really good. I just know so clearly that I'm going to be doing this till the day I die.
To learn more about Sanjay Patel's art, visit GuiHappy.com. Georges Braque, a 20th century French artist, invented Cubism with Pablo Picasso. In a rare exhibition of Braque's work, the Mildred Lane Kemper Art Museum in St. Louis presents over 40 of his works from collections around the world.
Braque is a very important artist for the history of 20th century modern art, but he's not very well known. So in many ways, the goal of the exhibition is to bring a very important artist to the public and help them learn about his work. He's most well known for his collaboration with Pablo Picasso in the early teens. But this exhibition looks at Braque's work in the 30s and early 40s, times leading up to and during World War II. So we're looking at Braque's Cubist still lifes in a period of extreme turmoil. Braque and Picasso invented Cubism together. And Cubism is a way of looking at the history of art and taking it apart, turning it into faceted and fractured and fragmented objects. Often you'll see an object from more than one point of view, from the side, from the top, and that's a very important way of understanding the history of painting, but it's actually very difficult to look at. He's asking you to rethink how you see the world. Braque painted still lifes his entire life. So you see pictures, newspapers, fruit on plates, knives, glasses, pipes, all the accoutrements, in some ways, of the interior world, of the bourgeois life on the table. So these 4 paintings, this is called the Rosenberg Quartet, were made for Braque's dealer, Paul Rosenberg. And Braque's dealer had a gorgeous home in Paris. These are the first time these paintings have been together in 80 years. They were designed for the dining room of Rosenberg's home. And Braque was trained as a decorative house painter, so in this painting you see him using some of these faux effects. You see the false gray-green marble. You see him working on the surface of this picture. He's probably flipped the brush over and created these little squiggles with the end of his brush. All of that is part of Braque's skill as a painter. So this is George Braque's The Round Table, painted in 1929. And on it, you see some of the classic still life objects. You see a mandolin or a guitar. You see a knife, a pipe, some fruit, the music score. And one of the things that Braque was most interested in with his still lifes was recreating a sense of touch. And he said that the reason he made still lifes was because it brought objects within reach of the hand. So he explained that musical instruments, for example, are something that you touch. You pluck the strings, you play them. You know, the same thing with fruit in many ways, the pipe, the knife. It's all giving you, it's inviting you to touch them and hold them, to imagine yourselves in this room. But he's also creating this wonderful surface texture. And so you can see here on the base of the table that he's used an instrument, possibly a special comb with edges, to create the lines of the wood graining. He's also often worked sand into the surface of the canvas, and you can actually see the grains of sand in the way the brush pulled them across and made little grooves. So he's creating a very textured surface, and that too is inviting you to kind of touch and experience that world. In the period of turmoil right before the war, I think there was very much a sense that war was imminent. And in these works, he begins to paint skulls. And this is the only moment where he possibly makes a reference to the death and violence that's happening around him in the exterior world. The show took 4 years to produce. There was research, there was visiting collectors in Paris, there was working in the archives, which I love. But the thing that was the most rewarding was having the paintings here and having them all together. And they're beautiful. I mean, they have color and texture and depth. So being able to really see them and work with the paintings, that was the most rewarding thing for me. To finally have them here is, in some ways, to get to know them and know him.
To learn more about the Braque exhibit, visit phillipscollection.org. Bill T. Jones is a multi-talented artist, choreographer, dancer, theater director, and writer. He has explored the complex terrain of the human condition with a unique and vibrant voice throughout his career. And Jones is often attributed with pushing the boundaries in dance and taking risks. Paula Zahn sits down with him.
Bill, it is an absolute honor to meet you.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And it's particularly fitting to be talking to you at the Juilliard School, where you were granted an honorary doctorate.
Yes.
And I have this wonderful picture of you. I think you are one of the few awardees that actually tap danced to get your diploma.
Well, it was a stomp dance. It wasn't tapping. It was stomping, yeah. When you're happy.
I've read a lot about your background. And you have traveled a very unusual path. From the 10th of 12 children born to migrant farm workers. Where along that path were you introduced to movement? And where could you have had a dream that you someday could perform as you do today?
You know, we were migrant workers, and because of the socio-political nature of the U.S. in the 50s, entertainment was quite segregated. So we lived out at the camp, my family, the men and women who worked with my dad, and where do you entertain yourselves? You have a jukebox. So we entertained ourselves by dancing. So movement was always there. We did talent shows, making up steps, seeing things on the Ed Sullivan Show. That's where culture came from, the June Taylor dancers. Now what happened when we got to the university, however? Now there's this thing called dance as concert performance. And pointing your feet and ballet, turn out, the alignment.
And you had not had any formal training up until that point?
No. At my high school, we were fortunate to have a drama teacher. So there was a drama club, and I loved it. Being the ham that I was in my bones, she directed that toward theater. I thought I was going to university for Broadway. But when I got there, I discovered modern dance, and it just took the air out of everything else, and I was obsessed.
And then Arnie Zane came into your life.
Yes, around the same time, actually.
Right. So
yeah.
let's talk about how the two of you completely moved the boundaries of dance.
It sounds like my publicist wrote that, right?
But it's true. Maybe it would be fair to say expand. Would it be more accurate to say you expounded the boundaries of dance?
We certainly expanded it. First of all, the question was, what was dance? We inherited a certain type of exploration from the 60s experimentalists. Anything could be danced about. Any form could be made to dance. Arnie Zane and I came into this, and we benefited from something called contact improvisation, as developed by one of Merce Cunningham's great dancers, Steve Paxton. If you could do karate, if you could do social dance like the Lindy, about counterpull, anybody could lift anybody. That contact really freed Arnie and I to really explore that. Now, there was this other issue. Small, white, Jewish men, tall, black men, and they're doing this thing which is not about princes and princesses, but there's something else. Are they fighting? Are they making love? What's going on? This relationship has something going on in it, and it was all through abstraction, pantomime kind of movements. So I think we really did inspire a lot of people to think past gender, think past body size, and begin to think what makes choreography. I say it's living sculpture. We're nobody's Sleeping Beauty anymore. We are the primary thing. We are the paint on the canvas. We're not at the service of drawing in the vase of flowers anymore, but the act of painting, the act of the body moving and gravity.
I think what I really respect is how honest you have been over the years, particularly in the American Masters documentary called A Good Man,
yeah.
where you expose the audience to the rawness of creating a performance.
The truth is what you put on that stage and what you make. Now, whose opinion about it are you going to believe? Do you believe your own eyes? And that's where the heart comes in. I'm saying to the public, I am here, no lies here. What I'm doing is, this is the real deal. Maybe it's not about originality, but it is about authenticity, which is the best I could hope for in this life. He was real.
Let's talk about this wonderful milestone you've reached with the 30th anniversary of your dance company, the world premiere of All Right, a co-production with Anne Bogart's City Company, and that's your take on Stravinsky's Rite of Spring.
Yes, Anne Bogart, who I have great respect for, she was enthused by the riot in Paris in 1913, and I said, well, maybe with Anne's enthusiasm, I could find a way into it, so we decided to work together.
Do you hear the circles in the music? Yeah? Can you hear the circles? Because they're everywhere.
And through the brilliance of my co-artistic director, Janet Wong, we have found a way to make the dance and the acting seamless. And it's a beautiful piece with a wonderful sound score, design. And no, we do not have a sacrificial maiden, although there is sacrifice in it. And it's really weird. It's kind of wonderful. I'm very proud of it.
Let's talk about Play-by-Play, an evening of music and movement, or movement and music, is I guess the way you call it. And it's about the delight of musicians and dancers working together.
Simple, right? Yeah, it is simple. It's a lot to do with the wonderful Orion String Quartet. If you love chamber music and you are interested in what we might do to it, this is a wonderful program not to be missed.
You also have been named the Executive Artistic Director of New York Live Arts, and you've described NYLA as where thinking and movement meet the future, a destination for innovative movement-based artistry.
That's it. It's true.
Expand on that. What do you hope that it will lead you to?
Well, New York Live Arts is the meeting of Bill T. Jones, Arnie Zane Dance Company, and the historic Dance Theater Workshop, a place that I did some of my first performances. They are fearless there. We have always been proud of Dance Theater Workshop, and now that tradition continues through the DNA of New York Live Arts. There's our residency commissioning artist program. Carla Peterson, who is our artistic director, really cares about artists. We would like to make sure that artists are taken care of at every stage of their career. And how can we make this innovation that New York is known for, how can we make it something that people fight to get tickets for?
I know you've talked about you're wanting your company to be a microcosm of the world that you like to live in.
You have done your research, haven't you? Yes.
How do you choose your dancers?
It's not a science. I wish it were. I do like a certain degree of virtuosity. That's not what Arnie Zane and Bill T. Jones were doing. But now, if someone can actually get into the air and beat, great. If they can get in the air and beat and then drop down and do something which is totally street, that's even better. And if they are a choreographer who are themselves thinking, and they're willing to lay that on my lap, oh, I've won. They have good technique, they have the ability to create, and they have an aesthetic that I can start a dialogue with, because that's what our company is. A lot of artists come through our company, people finding their legs and finding their aesthetic in our company. I'm very proud of that.
Thanks so much for your time and continued good luck.
To learn more about Bill T. Jones and his work, visit NewYorkLiveArts.org. Sacramento, California's Art in Public Places has a new venue. Its newest location is in the Sacramento airport, where it has added splashes of art at every corner. Rob Stewart gives us a tour.
We're taking you inside the new Terminal B at the Sacramento International Airport, home to the largest public art project in the history of Sacramento County. And we're here with Shelley Willis, who is the Director of Art and Public Places in Sacramento. Good to see you, Shelley.
Nice to see you, too. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And look what's behind you. It is huge. The rabbit, the flying rabbit. Tell me about this.
Isn't it amazing? Well, it's made by an artist from Denver, Colorado. His name is Lawrence Argent. Its title is Leap. It's 56 feet long.
Wow.
It's instantly become this iconic feature of the airport and a real destination for people. They instantly know where they're at, you know.
Well, there's a lot here to see. As we said, there's 12 different pieces, a huge display. So you want to take me on a tour?
Yes, of course. It was my pleasure. The piece is by Christian Moeller, and it's titled The Baggage Handlers.
What is it?
This piece is called Migration. Look at the bird. Do you see his skeleton?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So if you notice from the back to the front, it's as if the birds have gone through an X-ray machine.
Oh, cool.
Right.
It looks like a tree filled with lights hanging from the ceiling.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
For the Tree City?
This is the City of Trees.
You wanted to talk, Shelley, about something underneath us.
Yes, that's right. This is actually a floor. It's made by Sacramento artist Joan Moment.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a mosaic and it's glass, and you'll notice that much of it is hand cut.
Well, I'll tell you, the artwork is spectacular here. And you know, I feel like the whole terminal really is a piece of art. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Very educational. Thank you so much, Shelley.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
For more information, visit sacmetroarts.org. For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find featured videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation was made possible by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you.